Welcome to the court. This is Acker at Basketball.
Hello, welcome to the Acker Basketball Season 3, Episode number 8. Now, almost to double digits here. I'm Curtis D. Acker.
I'm Mark Acker. Hi again, everybody. Nice to see you once again.
Thanks for coming back and joining us. So, recently, we've been doing 3 teams and breaking down their off-season moves. We're going to switch it up to 2. We're going to end up doing FGCU and UNF, so a couple of Florida birds. And why don't you start us off with FGCU, Dad?
Yeah, and just for those who are interested, Florida Gulf Coast just released yesterday their new Alico Arena basketball court. New design on the floor. Got some palm trees, got some other messages on there, so pretty sharp looking. Go check it out.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'll jump right into the players that have exhausted eligibility. Number 1 is Dalian Johnson, averaged 14.6 points while starting all 34 games last season. He's a pure shooter, hit on 38% from deep while pumping out 485 three-pointers in his 2 seasons with the Eagles. Career high last year, 26 points on 8 threes made at Bellarmine in January.
Not once, though, right?
What's that?
Not once,
Not
though?
once, but twice. 26 again against Bellarmine, this time at home in February. So, obviously, we know which team he really lit it up on. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
Dalian. That's in essence what Dalian is.
Absolutely, and he had a little bit of connection with Chambers already being at Penn State before he ended up at FGCU here. Then moving on to Kashawn Kellerman, he started all 62 games he played in his last 2 seasons with FGCU, played those first 3 at Princeton University. He had 12.9 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, and 63.6% field goal percentage over the past 2 seasons. Absolutely dominant in multiple factors on the floor. Also, career highlight as well. He did have a 28-point game, but he had a 5-block game against Jacksonville on February 18th of this past season, and that was an incredible performance for him. 14 career double-doubles as well for this guy. He just, as I said, dominated in multiple assets of the game. I should mention as well, he was second last year for field goal percentage of all guys in the NCAA.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Fantastic. I did not know that.
Yes.
Nice.
That was
stat.
not this past season, but the year before that. Let me
Okay,
clarify
2
that.
seasons ago, right.
Yes.
Very cool. Great for him. Awesome.
Yeah. Who's next?
Who's next? Xavier McLean. 3 seasons, at Columbia. And then McLean laced him up last season, his final season at Florida Gulf Coast, obviously. Filled the stat sheet, 11.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 54% field goal shooting, 36 from behind the arc. How about this? 50.4% of his shots across his entire college career went in. Over 50%. That's a big number.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then he finished it off last season. His career high, we'll give a career high 23-point game against Eastern Kentucky, February 6th.
I still can't get past that 50% field goal percentage. Like, that's a good number in the NBA. Like, you want those 50, 40, 90 splits to be an elite player in the NBA to have 50% during your college career. Good job by Xavier.
Yep.
All right, let's move in now to the guys that are transferring out. So they're losing Jevin Muniz. He is going to be going to Colorado State next year, which Nick Clifford just ended up getting some shine there and ended up getting his name in the NBA. But for Muniz here, started all 34 games that he played with FGCU this past season. He did also play 2 seasons at Delaware State, which is in the MEAC. He did go off for a 28-point performance, 11 boards against Stetson on February 20th of this year. And that ended up being a 3-point victory. They're going to end up losing a lot of fast pace, which is something that FGCU doesn't really have much. But Muniz was a big guy for that. If they needed kind of like a change of pace, guy that's going to get down the court and score really quickly, that was him.
Right.
So
he
it'll
can really
be
handle the
interesting to
ball,
see
too.
how-
He's very confident there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's next?
Who's next? Xavier Pina.
Nice.
Spent 2 seasons with the Eagles. Didn't get in any game action. Played 2 seasons prior to that with JUCO Navarro College. And he made 36% of his threes there, averaging 7.3 points. We haven't been able to find any information about where he's headed next.
No, his social stuff, he's still linked to FGCU, so we're unclear of where Pina's going to be playing next, but we certainly hope that he's going to be ending up getting somewhere soon.
Yep.
And then to wrap up the guys that are going to be leaving via the transfer portal, forward Blaze Vespi did not play last season following 35 games played in the previous 2 years. He did average 1.9 points and just over a rebound. He is going to end up going to Division II Nova Southeastern, which, in case you didn't know, the past 4 seasons, they have won the Sunshine State Conference. Then the past 3 seasons, they've made the NCAA D2 championship game. Wow. And then in 23 and this past season, they've actually won the championship. So he's going to a premier Division II basketball program to round out his college career.
Very, very cool. Very congratulations on that move. That's awesome. All right, let's switch gears, and now let's look at the players that are coming in to Florida Gulf Coast. We've talked about a couple of these guys in previous podcasts. I'll just mention J.R. Knesny, graduate student from Notre Dame. He played his 4 years there. 6'6" wing type player. A lot of diversity in his game. Again, you can check out the previous podcast to see more details about JR.
Yeah, it seems like with JR too, just one thing we didn't get to talk about on that previous podcast is seems like he played more like the guard/wing spot for Notre Dame where he was before. Seems like now he's listed as a forward on their website.
Yep.
So it definitely seems like he might be transitioning more to that side of things. Another forward that is absolutely incredible that they brought in is Isaiah Malone. So the 6'8" forward comes in after 2 seasons from the University of St. Francis, which is there's so many St. Francis's, oh my gosh, in Indiana of the NAIA. He averaged 16.2 points, just over 7 boards a game, and just under 2 blocks a game last year. Also shot 65% from the field, 44.5% from 3 over the past 2 seasons. This guy is also, as well, just one thing I want to mention about his defensive game. He's very similar to someone that we're going to talk about later in the video, but just like even an extra layer up, he just does everything.
Yeah.
Malone single-handedly won them games because, or at least in the highlights that I saw, won them the games because of his defensive effort. And he looks so comfortable, not only on the inside, where his 6'8" frame you'd expect him to be, but he actually looks more comfortable defending on the outside than he does the inside. He's an outside-in defender rather than inside-out defender. You don't see that too often at his size.
I noticed, I took note of the fact that he was blocking shots on his own man or helping. He can do both, to your point.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, he's very versatile.
And then we talked about this last guy, right, already?
Exactly. George Washington III was at Richmond. He also played at Michigan, so this George Washington crossed way south of the Delaware, or of the Potomac, excuse me. And will be joining Florida Gulf Coast this season here. Guard averaged 10 points, career high 10 points at Michigan 2 seasons ago. And so, looking
against
forward to him
Purdue of all teams, too.
Right, he was actually hurt last year at the end of the year, so we'll see how he comes back.
Right. It might be a comeback season for him.
Exactly.
A little bit of what we talked about in our previous video about him. Make sure to go check that out by checking the links in the description. Now let's move into the incoming freshmen. So we got 6'3" combo guard Jordan Ellerby. He's from Philadelphia's St. Joseph's. There's lots of St. Joseph's out there as well. Prep school. He was Gatorade Pennsylvania Player of the Year for this past season. Also 2-time Philly Catholic League First Team Selection League MVP last year as well. 16 points. Just about 6.5 rebounds, just over 5 assists, and about a steal and a half per game. Apparently, as well, according to his high school coach, he was always tasked with guarding the other team's best defender.
Right.
So that speaks volumes. I didn't really see many defensive highlights of him, but I think that might have actually just been because he's just a overall solid defender.
Right.
And it's like you don't need to show. He doesn't create a lot of turnovers, but he just locks his guy down every single time.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And they might come up again in this list of incoming freshmen. At least the defensive aspect.
Right.
So moving on to Chase Knesny. Wait, did we hear Knesny's name before?
I think we have, right?
Heard that. Yes. His brother J.R. Chase, freshman out of Indiana, scored 2,138 points in his high school career. Big number. Class 3A championship last season. Again, a player we've talked about in previous podcasts. Just another relentless energy type of player. Really excited to see how the two brothers suited up and what kind of hovering and swarming type of play that they can provide. Again, on the defensive end, aside from this offense.
Right, and they're not the only pair of brothers on the team, too, right? Because the Washington brother, BB's brother, Washington, is George Washington III. We just talked about a second ago.
Exactly, right.
Now let's move to Matt McCarthy, who is a 6'4" guard from Episcopal Academy, which is also Philly. He was there for 2 years. That's also Coach Pat Chambers, EA alum. He's first team inter AC All League for last season. This guy's a 3-tier scorer. He's strong. He's got lots of body control. I would just say like he's smooth with the ball at all times. Like it's not like he's the quickest, but he's just like he's coordinated with all the moves that he makes, or at least in the film that you can go watch of him. It's incredible.
He's in control of what he's doing.
That body control.
Yep.
And it seems like he does have a lot of mental control as well. The only thing with him is kind of like same thing that I had mentioned for Ellerby. I just didn't see many other highlights of like outside scoring. With Ellerby, I saw a little bit more playmaking. It could have just been the editing style choice of the highlight video that I was watching for McCarthy as well.
Right.
But I just didn't see much creation outside of his own shot creation for McCarthy. But at that, this guy's incredible.
Well, sometimes in high school you don't have to necessarily, or the coach doesn't want your star just to score.
That's true.
And not necessarily look for that other guy in certain situations.
Right. Or you mean they do want him to score in high school?
They just want them to score.
Yeah, they just want them to
look
score.
for passes off.
Right.
But again, his choice of shots was still, with that in mind, he still took smart shots.
Yes.
He didn't force stuff that we saw, right?
And he created from his body control.
Yes.
It was crazy to see. He's very acrobatic.
Exactly. Yep. Hey, guess what? There's yet another guy from Philly that's joining the South Philly Eagles, I think we're going to call them. Yeah. And hopefully those Eagles fans can spell Eagles right. Anyways, I'm sorry. So this is 6'4" shooting guard Gabe Tanner. He committed last September, played 3 seasons at Perkiomen School, winning the state championships in his sophomore and junior seasons at that school. Elite Prep Division League defensive first team last year. Another defensive-minded player, right? Again, a lot of the similar attributes we've seen with the guys we've already talked about. I think with Gabe, I like. He's a passer. I think he's got a better balance.
Yes.
Kind of player. What I saw on this film.
I saw hustle, high basketball IQ, and I also saw teamwork. Like you said, him being kind of more of a pass-first player.
Right.
Another thing, I did watch a couple actual games instead of like there weren't many highlight videos that gave out there, but there were some full games out there, and I felt like Perkiomen's offense ran a lot better and got capitalized on more scoring opportunities when he was involved versus when he wasn't.
Okay.
And I see this guy developing into a future glue guy.
Yeah.
In the conference here.
Exactly. Read about our glue guys. We did an episode last season about glue guys that were playing in the ASUN, and it's a very important role, obviously, other than scoring or just highlighting the stats. But those guys that tie everything together with hustle plays, steals, tips, turnover, stuff like that.
Yeah, they just give effort and everything.
Exactly.
And he definitely spoke volumes for that.
That's right. Yep.
So give me your breakdown for this team.
Yeah, I quality character leaders. That's what I saw out of this crew, and that can be impactful right away. I think the players that they've got coming in, not just the transfers in, but they're freshmen. I think these guys, the 4 players that we talked about, are ready to contribute immediately, and they're going to need them to. Obviously, Florida Gulf Coast lost some significant talent, like a lot of teams did, but yeah, they need them to contribute, and they're going to. Like the length, the strength, I think is here with the recruits. So that's partly why I think they're ready for it. McCarthy, he's man strong already. That's the word that came to my mind.
Yeah,
I think he's got it. The element of that. You talked a lot about Isaiah Malone as well. His shot blocking instincts, right? Those are going to be impact plays. Offense can come, but if you can compete at the defensive end right off the bat, I think Florida Gulf Coast is going to be a tough team to score against. That's really what I see. Yeah, even though they have a lot of length, but I think they have the strength to support it.
Length and strength.
Yeah.
Dunk City's back, I'm telling you.
Dunk City.
Especially with Malone. Oh my gosh, Malone can. Yeah. And then you got like George Washington. We saw in his highlight videos, he's got the ability to throw the oop pass.
Right.
Oh my gosh, if they can get that connected, it's gonna be crazy. But Pat Chambers absolutely reloaded the Eagles' arsenal this past year.
That's right.
It is insane how I think these practices that are about to happen are going to be the ultimate competitive practices that or I would assume that it's going to be in the upper echelon of the league. I would say their depth is probably deeper than everyone else we've looked at so far.
Yeah.
I said last week EKU was my favorite recruiting class so far. They got competition now because FGCU is loaded up for this year, and not just this year, but future years to come.
Yeah, I think so too. Agreed. Yep, right on.
All right, let's move into a team that is in a bit of an opposite situation. They're in more of a rebuild than a retooling, and that would be the North Florida Ospreys. So, Swoop Nation, let's talk about Nate Litteris. So, he got his college career started at Big South Longwood, where he played for 3 seasons. Including that regular season and tournament title, which earned him the 14th seed in the national tournament. In these 2 seasons with UNF, he dropped 11.2 points per game, just about 5 boards, and had 59 blocks and 48 steals across the 63 games that he played. Over a 35% shooter from field goal range. He shot 36 from there, 45% just overall from the field. Another great number. Had a high 21 points at Austin Peay on March 5th of 2024, and he secured his second double-double on February 15th against Central Arkansas. And Litteris was just an electric player to watch for these guys.
Yeah, what didn't he do for the Ospreys? He did everything. Yeah.
Right. And when you made when he made a play, you knew about it.
Oh yeah.
Everyone in the building knew. He was definitely an energizer for that team.
Exactly. Right.
So we got another energizer for the team, but in kind of a different way. Tell me a little bit about Oscar Berry.
Oscar Berry, 3 seasons, 94 games, including 68 starts. 34, he's not a huge scorer, but 34% three-pointers, 2.1 rebounds, just a 4.1 point average for his career. But he had 66 steals over his 3 seasons. Great number, very consistent, over 20 points, 20 steals each season for North Florida. He did score, though, right? 23 points a game. This is 3 years ago against Bethune-Cookman, but he still could score 6 of 9 from behind the line in that game. And prior to that, he did play 1 season at Fairleigh Dickinson, and he was named to the conference all-rookie team that season.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't known for his scoring. He was more known for his defensive effort and his work in the classroom and his leadership.
Right.
But he did toss in the occasional gem. He had 23 points against Bethune-Cookman, as you mentioned. I'm looking at it right now. He had 19 against Central Arkansas this past year. 16, 14, 13, 12, 12. Like he, as I said, he had the occasional gem where he'd throw in a really solid game in the scoring department as well. Right. So another guy that you asked the question, what didn't he do for North Florida?
Yeah, he's a 4th-line hockey player kind of player to me. Just a gritty guy, did a little bit of everything, just got in the way, made plays happen you don't necessarily see on the stat sheet, I guess is a good way to say it.
Yeah. Now let's move into the transfer outs. Who's first?
Let's see. You can do that one.
Oh, I can do that one? All right, I'll do that one. If you so let me. I'll do the first Indiana guy we got, Josiah Miles. The Miami native is heading all the way up to Bloomington to play for the Hoosiers of Indiana. Miles greatly improved his statistical numbers this past season. He went from just under 19 minutes a night, 32 this past year, just under 6 points per game, over 15 this next year. Improved almost by 3 rebounds per game, and also his assist numbers went up they doubled.
Right.
Over doubled, and his 3-point percentage went up as well, 30% to 34%. That was good enough for ASUN 3rd team this past season, and he did get 5 double-doubles over his time with the Ospreys as well. So another, I think, really solid piece for Indiana. All these guys that are leaving UNF, because as we mentioned before, they beat 2 SEC teams last year.
Yeah.
So something was going very, 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 very right for this team at the beginning of the year. Unfortunately, it didn't last season long, but I think that these Power 5 teams saw that and we're like, oh, wait, there's some pieces that can contribute for us up
It was
here.
a wake-up for sure. Yeah, exactly. I actually thought of Josiah last year that as the year went on, even though the team struggled as the year went on to win, I thought he got better with his offensive production. Better shot selection, more creativity as the season went on. So.
Yeah, and as that develops, that can. Yeah, I mean, he's got a 6'6" body and good frame to him. Going to Indiana, I mean, all the pieces are there to align for him to get to the next level if he continues to improve the way he has.
Exactly. Yep. Speaking of Indiana, big man Josh Harris leaves Florida after to also become a Hoosier after a really dynamic freshman season with the Ospreys. 16 double-digit scoring games, including a season high 31 with a win at Queens. He had 4 double-doubles on the season, shot 56% from the floor on his 13.4 point average. Also contributed 7.1 rebounds. Only played 22 minutes, even though he started all the games. So he mixed his time. Really productive stat line for the amount of time he played.
Yes.
And as you may guess, he was in the ASUN freshman team the year last year.
And he was well deserving of it.
Yeah.
Another guy going to the Big Ten is Liam Murphy. So that 3-point specialist is what Murphy is, and he's going to head to Purdue following his lone season with the Ospreys. He did lead the ASUN last year with 42.3% field goal percentage from 3. And he had 13 games, Dad, with more than 4 3-pointers made. He was a really good energizing piece off the bench for them, and a team that, as we know, loves the 3-ball. He fit in perfectly with that.
Exactly.
He did have a season-high 22 points, going 8 of 10 against the SEC team, Georgia
Bulldogs. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Heck of a game. Moving on to Jalen Smith. Played his freshman and sophomore seasons with the Ospreys. He started all 32 games last season, 11.4 points, 5.7 assists, and shot over 34% from behind the arc. Common theme with the Ospreys about their 3-point shooters.
I'll have a point on that later, by the way.
Okay, perfect. 2 double-doubles, the point and assist variety double-doubles, and he had 10 games with over 7 assists. Really, I watched a lot of North Florida last year. I didn't really catch that to my eye, how effective he was at moving the ball.
Oh, yeah, he was the cog for their offense.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I didn't really catch that until I was reviewing this. 22 points in a January loss against North Alabama was a season high from a scoring perspective. But he really, obviously, again, was that ball mover, playmaker.
Then you got Amitri Moss, who's going to go to Lemoyne, which are the Dolphins. So his career includes 2 years at State College of Florida, then 2 at UNF. So he's going for his final one here. He did tear his ACL midway through the 23-24 campaign. Did return to game action last year on November 4th. So that's 11-month recovery. 10-month recovery. That's pretty impressive after an ACL injury.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of dedication there by Moss to get back and healthy. Led him to 7.2 points, 47% field goals, and 2.6 averages for assists over the past 2 seasons. He had 51 career games, and he's heading north, as I mentioned, to play for Lemoyne for his graduate season.
That's right. Shout out to George Green and Tyler Stark, golfers that also go to Lemoyne that were.
Oh, who coached them?
Dave Heiss.
Dave would substituted from Mark Acker every now and then.
That's right.
Now, we already went over the transfers ins, but you want to just give us a little recap as to what we went over in previous episodes about these guys?
Yep, absolutely. Number 1, we have Dalton Gaiman, a 6'7" graduate student, forward guard, real good ball handler, diverse type of player. He was at Purdue Northwest Division II, so his first year in a D1 program. Really like his energy, size, length coming in. Also, we have Devin Hines, a 6'4", also graduate. He's a guard. Played 4 years at Lafayette. Started 38 of the last 39 games the last 2 seasons. He only played 8 games last season, the start of the season, and then he didn't play after that. So
yeah, we don't know why either.
Right, exactly. So new change for him. And last but not least, Kent Jackson comes over from across town from Jacksonville. Shooting guard, dropped a lot of threes last year.
Give those numbers real quick. Those numbers need to be said.
77 of his 89 shots taken last year were from behind the arc.
Yeah.
I think he kind of likes to shoot it.
And that's going to fit in perfectly to what we've known about North Florida, although they do not have their their usual head coach anymore.
Right. And we'll get into that more, I think, with Coach Kennan, how much he's been there a long time, since I think 2009. So how much of the on-court style they match what what Coach Driscoll did or ran. Anyways, we'll see. But I think certainly the personnel fit to stay kind of what they've been doing.
Yes, and we'll talk more about that in our coaching off-season moves, which will be done after our player off-season moves.
Exactly.
So let's move into the incoming freshmen. So we got Trey Caddy, a 6'8 lefty from Marion, Ohio. He brings guard-like skills, having grown from 5'7" as an 8th grader, now all the way up to more than a foot higher. Yeah. He is a three-point shooter, 3-tier scorer, good shot-blocking instincts, disrupted on the defensive end, kind of like Malone, looks really comfortable guarding the exterior, which probably has a lot to do with the fact that he was 5'7" in 8th grade, didn't expect to be more than anything than a guard.
That's right.
And then you shoot up and you get a lot bigger. I'm really excited about Caddy. He's actually I think he's kind of like a Dalton Gaiman adjacent.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, and he doesn't look like uncomfortable with that growth in terms of his athleticism. Mm-hmm. He looks like he's built into his body as well.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. Moving on to Gabriel Jacobs, Georgia native, set school record 2 years ago, actually, with 50 points, 14 threes in one game. That's pretty good. I was surprised it wasn't more than just a school record. But
right.
We'll see how long that will last. Anyway, 6'1" guard. He was a Region 2 5A honorable mention pick last year. Excellent student, a leader. Watching his interview, one of his interviews, he actually talked about how he learned first by listening and following, and it helped him become a better leader as a person.
That's good.
I like that. It was a really good way to reflect that.
That's astute.
Yep. Last season, his senior year in high school, averaged 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and topped 1,000 points scoring for his high school career.
Very solid career for him.
Yep. He's got a really good monster dunk, too, and if you can find that highlight out there.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. Go find it. It's impressive for 6'1".
Yes. Then we got Benjamin B.J. Plummer, the 6'6" forward from Tallahassee. He's going to join the Ospreys as the number 34 prospect, per Prep Hoops, and that was for Florida. So he was also Source Hoops 4A All-State team selection, and he's a lengthy shooter, around 14.2 points last season in his senior year. He was 6'3", 165 his sophomore season, so another guy that ended up growing into his body. And I wrote that note down just before I even started watching his film, and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, so since he was that size when he was a sophomore, he's probably got a lot of skills as a guard, even though he's more of a wing size now. And boy, does his game film show it.
Yeah.
He's got multiple different skills that just lead to contributing. Like he can do it on the run. He can do it whether it's in the half court. He can be the playmaker. He can be the design play for the scorer.
Right.
Like he's a Swiss Army knife as far as where he's going to fit into this lineup.
I think he seems quiet. For me, he seems like quiet, sneaky. Like you don't expect it, and then boom,
it's there.
He's by you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or making a play. Last but not least, Mason Watkins, 6'3" guard, averaged 21.9 points. 3.7 rebounds, 3.2 assists, hit 41% of his shots from deep. He was Iowa's number 10 high school prep per Prep Hoops last season. Son of a college coach, so you always get that high IQ, knowledgeable. He's been around the game, talked about the game
for a long time
at the dinner table, right? But how about this about coaching connection? His first birthday was celebrated at Coach Kennan's house.
Yeah, that's a fun little nugget right there. So it's just weird how everything aligns for you.
Right. I think the coaching connection it probably contributed to that. But
yes,
that's still a pretty cool fact. All right, let's break it down for us. What do you like about and don't like about UNF's recruiting class here?
So I really like the type of players that they brought in. My concern is that you lose so much. Like, there's so much that we haven't seen. You're losing 7 of your top 8 scorers. The only one that's back is Cameron Oriole.
Right.
And we don't know if he's going to be the 6th man or if he's going to be the starting point guard. Like, I don't know who's going to start at the 1.
Right.
But yeah, as I mentioned, you lose 7 of your top 8 scorers. Additionally, with that, you lose a lot of size. Litteris, Barry, Murphy, Miles, and Harris. All of those guys are over 6'5"
Right.
in length. Now, luckily, outside of a few guys that are returning, and Watkins and Jacobs. So outside of Oriole, Jacobs, Watkins, and Thompson, everyone else that's returning is 6'5" or higher. And then all the other guys are right around that height. Hines is 6'4".
6'4", right.
But so I think they retooled a little bit on the height, but still losing all of that and your scoring is concerning to me. Now here's my main point, and this is what I said I would mention later. Outside of Amitri Moss, who averaged 23.3 from outside and only shot 1 per game, and outside of Josh Harris, who shot 33.3% from beyond the arc and shot just over 1 per game. The rest of these guys, so Litteris, Murphy, Miles, and Barry, and I believe Moss as well. Those guys shot 36.7% average.
Wow.
From beyond the arc. Hines didn't do that. Neither did Kent Jackson.
Right.
Now, I am expecting improvement from both of them because with Hines, seems like it might have been a wrong fit, wrong time situation.
Right. Yep.
With Jackson, first year in the league, you expect improvement. Gaiman's numbers were there already, but that was at the Division II level, so he's got to be able to do it at the Division I level. And then with high school stats are just so hard to determine whether or not they're true or not.
Exactly.
But it definitely seems like those guys are going to be three-point shooters. Pretty much every single one of them from their freshman class is going to be able to shoot the ball at an elite level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But there's just so many question marks. It's so new this year.
Right.
That I have concerns about that. I don't have concerns about if they can compete at the top. I have concerns about how consistent they're going to be to compete at the top. I just don't know where they're going to finish.
Right. Yep. I looked at it as I agree with those points mostly. I think they're kind of small and like there's not a host of 6'8", 6'9", 6'7" strong body type of players in this group, in my opinion, that are coming in. Like I think Gaiman fits that mold pretty well.
Yes.
Caddy fits that role. But they're going to be tested hard against a conference that has a good amount of that. So that's where I see the concern I have is in that. One of the concerns I have is in that space there at the inside, and just what plays can you run if you can't compete physically?
If you can't control the flow of the game.
Yeah.
And that's where competing physically comes into play
Exactly.
a lot is with the flow
right.
of the game.
Right. There are ways to do it, but that to me that sticks out to me as a challenge for them to not having a lot of diversity in their offensive flow, and then it can also hurt you pretty bad on defense if you get shoved around too much.
Yes.
Right. So.
And we know with North Florida the past few years, defense has been an issue.
Right. Exactly. I don't know if they solved that with this incoming class as it sits on paper here today. So.
No, I think it's loads of potential, and we just got to see the performance.
Right.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode. As we mentioned, we wrapped it up to 2 teams this week just to give you a kind of shorter episode. And just be sure to stick around next week. We're going to hopefully wrap up the Florida teams next week, and then we'll move on to the remaining 2 teams after that.
Right. Exactly.
So until next time, take care.